My name's Marc Wennberg, and I'm here to talk about Triptych Journey. And Triptych Journey begins with a figure that you see in the screen there, whose name is Padmasambhava, or Guru Rinpoche. Padmasambhava brought Buddhism to Tibet in the 8th century. And his story straddles this flexible boundary between myth and history. And it includes such things as political intrigue, demons, and magical powers. And it also includes some of Tibet's most profound spiritual teachings. And finally, it's a story that continues to unfold to this day. Padmasambhava's story stretches across the Himalaya. And so it stretches from the north, which is Pakistan, where he was born, all the way down to Bhutan, and includes Nepal, Tibet, India, and also Sikkim in India. If you travel amongst this region, you will come across all sorts of sites that are associated with his life, including a site in a lake up in Pakistan where he is said to have been born on a lotus flower at the ripe age of 8 years old. He was raised by a childless king who wanted him to become the heir apparent, but instead he dedicated his efforts to Tantric Buddhism, and his fame grew. And as a result of his fame, he was invited by the king of Tibet, and he traveled through the highest mountains because the king wanted to convert his kingdom to Buddhism, but all of his efforts previously had been thwarted. So Padmasambhava traveled there, and his greatest obstacles was not the altitude or the snow, but rather the demons. Because previously the demons were jealously protecting the local religion. But one by one, Padmasambhava overcame the demons and bound them to become protectors of the Dharma and of Buddhism. So it is said that there's not a square foot of the Himalayan where Padmasambhava traveled that wasn't touched by his presence. And as I mentioned before, you see sites all throughout the region, whether it's a handprint in stone or a footprint in stone, or some of these sites such as this, which is a cave hermitage called Drakirpa. This is in Tibet, and there is two slides here taken not by myself, but by a photographer named Michael Ash. What's so interesting about these sites is that these are called power spots. And what that means is that when Padmasambhava first came to Tibet, he gathered around himself a series a group of disciples, including the king and his consort, his tantric consort. And he instructed them in the secret arts of Tantra. But he also buried deep in their minds spiritual teachings that would be revealed hundreds, if not thousands of years later, when the reincarnations of these disciples were born, found themselves in a power spot, went into deep meditation, and found a pathway in their mind to this teaching. They then brought these teachings back to the Tibetan people as a new teaching for the right time, right medicine at the right time. And so that's what inspires such loyalty amongst the Tibetan people for this popular figure, Padmasambhava, who's actually considered a second Buddha. This site here is around Mount Kailash, and this is actually a slide I took. It's a holy mountain in Tibet, and it's a place where if you circle it, you are supposedly relieved of all your karma for a lifetime. So this brings me back to Triptych Journey, and Triptych Journey, as I said, begins with Padmasambhava. And the question I faced when I wanted to tell the story is how to tell a story with so many different facets. I sometimes fancy myself a writer, so I had thought about traveling in his footsteps, but that seemed insufficient. So I decided that for a multifaceted story, you need multifaceted storytellers. And so I've recruited a group of artists, including a choreographer, a couple of videographers, a poet who's here this evening, and collectively we're going to follow in Padmasambhava's footsteps. And we're going to travel to significant sites throughout the Himalaya, each of us documenting our experiences through our own artistic language. So that could take the shape of dance movement in the landscape, or it could just take the shape of photography and images from the people who we meet along the way. All of this will be broadcasting on our website, but also when we return, we'll be weaving all of these individual artistic products together into a single multimedia storytelling experience that includes movement, spoken word, image, and sound. So when I come back to the question about why this story, I first start from a place of tremendous softness within myself for the Tibetan people and the Tibetan culture and the values that they bring to the world, values such as peace and happiness, not just for themselves, but for all of us. I also feel that if this journey can some way communicate those values to the audience and instill a sense of conservation and instill a sense that this is something that should be preserved, then that's something good, and it's something that I want to help make happen, particularly given the pressure that Tibetan culture is under today. I'm also always curious about what happens on a travel. So there's the highs and the lows, and there's very funny moments where you would find a monkey balancing on a bunch of prayer flags. And I look forward to sharing that with the audience as we travel along. And then finally, as part of this journey, we will be traveling to some powerful places. And powerful places have unique ways of acting upon people. And so I have a very strong curiosity to see how the places that we visit impact the artists and how it impacts the artist's expression of power, and to share that both through our website and through the performance. That's Triptych Journey. Thank you.